Right, hi everyone, good morning. So, excuse me, I've got a bit of a dry mouth. Right, so, it's about time, I feel, that I told my story and told it to you in full. So here goes. I moved into my current property in May of 2023, and since I've moved in I've had nothing but problems with these children and their parents, pretty much, I dare say, 5 days a week out 7 for literally the last 2 years. And it all started when I politely requested and asked that these children do not kick their footballs against my walls, my windows, and so forth. And like I said, I politely asked these children on a number of occasions to refrain from kicking their balls against the walls and windows, because for one, it is annoying to hear constant thud, 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 bang, thud, you name it, basically. And secondly, these children do not even live on the estate. So really, you know, they've got no real reason to be there. They've got perfectly satisfactory back gardens that they can have a kick around in. Albeit they might be on the small side, but when I was a kid, I lived in properties that had small back gardens. It didn't stop me or my brothers having a little kick around, to be quite honest, and it shouldn't really stop these children either. And lastly, there are no ball games signs on the building and in the grounds. Quite clear signage, and these children are just not obeying the mandatory signs that say clearly no ball games. And the reason it says no ball games is because of the like the windows, and you know, the high risk they can do damage, or they can hit somebody with a ball, you know, that kind of thing really. And these children and their parents have not taken very nicely to me saying, please stop it, please stop it, please stop it, please don't do it, you know, and so forth. And what they have done to me is, I'm sorry, you know, I'm going to be blunt, but they've caused me no end of harassment, alarm, distress, etc. And them doing this to me, they're also trying to impact upon my relationships with friends and my family, and impacting on my visitors, because people don't want to come to my property to visit me, so making me feel more isolated. And so it goes on. And I was initially told by my landlords, who are South Essex Homes, they asked me very nicely, they said, "Janine, can you please gather evidence of what these individuals are doing to you?" I said, "How do you want me to gain the evidence?" They said, "Get it by photographs, recordings, video recordings, audio recordings, you name it." They told me to do it, pretty much. Because they were saying that the evidence they would need to take action against these individuals until these parents got the police involved. And from the moment they got the police involved in late 2023, it has gotten worse and worse and worse. The police have told us, like both sides, stay away from each other, which I've tried my best to do my part, staying away from them. Let's get that perfectly clear. But the image here behind me clearly shows that these two mums, Jenny Kilworth and Carla Noakes, here in this picture behind, are not adhering to their part of the deal. Oh, excuse me. And in fact, this is just one occasion where they have had me cornered in a location close to my block. This was actually by the bins outside the back door of my block. And you can watch that video, which I'll link in the description below, to give you more of a rounded sort of aspect of what happened. But they basically now calling me a paedophile. They've actually mentioned it several times in this video as well. They're calling me a paedophile. They're saying I'm going around filming their children, I'm like harassing their children, and you know, that kind of thing. And I've even said I'm not harassing the kids. I'm not doing anything to antagonise. And I said to them, I said, again, I'm being reasonable and I'm saying to you, please do not allow your children to kick footballs against the building, the windows. On the grass, fine, as long as it's well away from the buildings. Nobody cares. And between them, they have escalated things way, way, way out of control. To the point where now, some 2.5, 3 years later, I am becoming scared to be in my home, but at the same time becoming scared to leave my home for any reason as well, because I don't know if I'm going to be subjected to verbal and physical assaults from these individuals or someone that they've enlisted. I've been attacked several times in and around my home by individuals to do with these mothers, and my home itself has been targeted with attempts of arson, which the police is currently investigating. Sorry about that. And add to that as well, all of the content online that has been spread around about me. There's several posts and comments and whatnot on the Southend Crime Watch group on Facebook. Of which at least 80% of the comments are from these mums and people who, without just reason or cause, backing these mums up. People who don't even know who I am are jumping on the comments, backing these mums up. And you know what they say about mud sticks, that kind of thing? Well, actually, you know what it does, because I can't even go out now, which is what I said to you just a minute ago about becoming scared of going out. I can't even go out now without people looking at me and making comments about me, loud enough comments for me to actually hear as well, which I do my best to ignore, but again it's dragging me down. And I shouldn't be having to suffer in the way that I am. And nor should my friends or family, because these individuals have also been attacking my friends and my family with no just cause, no just reason to do so, other than the fact that they are something to do with me. And what more can I do apart from keep telling the police until I'm blue in the face? Which, it must be annoying for the police too, to be honest. Because you get that impression when the police say, oh, we're not going to send anyone out, but we're just going to add it to your ongoing case. But yet, I got issued with a community protection warning which stated that I must not interact with and communicate in any way, shape or form, nor must I video or photograph any children on the estate whatsoever, and I also mustn't swear to anybody in public. I don't swear much anyway, and when I do, it's usually for good cause, because somebody may well have annoyed me, somebody may well have started on me first, so, you know, I'm just airing my frustrations. And yet, these parents, they literally get a little slap on the wrist saying, don't do it again. That is all they get. A slap on the wrist basically saying, don't do it again. Me, I've had this CPW issued against me, plus on numerous occasions, because of these individuals here, I have been arrested, brought into the police station for voluntary interviews, etc. But the arrests, obviously, they're not voluntary. They're like taking away my liberties when I've done nothing wrong. And it just goes from there. Now, I keep on getting pulled in one way or another by the police, because these mothers and the fathers and the kids, they cannot stop lying about me. And there's one particular incident whereby I'm still awaiting an outcome of the investigation, because I was pulled in and interviewed for supposedly wasting police time, because they said that they'd got evidence from Jenny that indicated that she could not have attacked me at the time that I gave, because she was out and had just come in the car. However, on that video, especially of hers, it shows that she alone went back out in that car just a few minutes prior to my being attacked. So, based on that, any person in their right mind could say, well, Jenny's got back in her car a few minutes before Janine was attacked, therefore it's a very good chance that she did do it. And I know she did it. I carry body cams and goodness knows what with me. And I think that's half the reason why people get a bit antagonistic towards me, because you know they want to basically be famous, but they're not being famous. Most of the time my body cam footage just goes onto my computer and then deleted after a month or so, unless it's needed. I'm actually speaking from the heart, so I know that I'm stopping every sort of now and again, you know, that kind of thing, because I'm thinking about what to say next. So that's why the little pauses every now and again. I'm actually hoping that nothing comes of this allegation, because I'm hoping that the CPS will look at the file and they'll say, do you know what, there's nothing to answer to here, we're not going to pursue it. But my solicitor, she knows what is happening with me. She knows all the ins and outs because she's helping me. But these individuals cannot be allowed to get away with causing harassment, alarm and distress, plus defamation of character on top of that as well. And with the literal thousands of comments, messages on Facebook and on my YouTube, it all says that these individuals just get off on causing problems for people. And it's got to stop. And they're even jumping on and saying that my friend, I'm not going to mention his name, but they're saying that my friend is a registered sex offender, which he isn't. That's a complete lie. He's never been anything like that. But yet it seems to be that the vendetta lays purely against me. These women have even got a petition to actually have me removed from my home. They don't mention a name on their petition, but read between the lines, and anybody who knows will know that it's about me. As I've said, I'm even worried about maybe going out later on, because I don't know what people are going to say or do or anything. and it's damaging my mental health, it's damaging my physical health. And this here is only one incident of where I was attacked. One incident of many. I mean, they didn't physically attack me here, but the fact that they were cornering me and shouting at me and so forth is enough to make anybody feel intimidated and in fear. So people, I ask you that before, I mean for anything, before you decide on whose side to take, look at all the evidence in front of you, not just half of it, not just one side of it. Be neutral, don't be biased. Because, as I've said, this is my story, and I've now done what I needed to do and explained it, got everything off my chest, and made it pretty clear that I am not going to be standing for any more of this nonsense. And on that note, I will bid you farewell. Thank you.